Welcome back to Twisted Builds. In today's episode, we're going to do an unboxing video of the all-new V2 Simple Dial Boost. So, I want to show you guys and gals a video of what you're going to get if you buy the full kit from our website, or my website. So, we're going to open this up, and you're going to see the first thing in here is 3/16 tubing for the boost controller, for the boost solenoid. This should be more than enough to plumb the boost solenoid to your wastegate and have it all ready to go. So, there's that. Now, we're going to see in here that you've got two wiring harnesses. So, we're going to open, this is the main harness right here. And the instructions, which you can see right there, come with the wiring diagram. But pretty much you got power, ground, and the white and blue are scramble. Or power and grounds are red and black. The white and blue are scramble for the scramble switch. And then the two browns are for the boost solenoid. The boost solenoid wiring is 14 foot long. The power, ground, and scrambles are 8 foot long, which should be more than enough to get from inside your vehicle out to the boost solenoid, and then the scramble and power and ground are only wired up inside your vehicle. The V2 Simple Dial Boost needs to be inside your vehicle because of the plastic housing it's in, just like the V1. So that's the main harness. And then we've got the map sensor harness. The map sensor harness is 14 foot long to get from the controller into the engine bay for the map sensor wiring. This can also be tied into your current map sensor. I'll go over that later in this video. Next up, we're going to see, now this video is not bubble wrapped, but all the ones I ship out are bubble wrapped. But this is the controller itself. It will fit anywhere. You can fit an aftermarket 52 millimeter like oil pressure gauge, like the standard oil pressure gauges you can get at any of the parts stores. This will fit anywhere those will go. The ones I'm running, I put in like an A-pillar gauge pod. And just any, like, you can get those standard like steel gauge holders, and this will fit right in there. It is a 3D printed housing with a 3D printed strap. It uses two 3/8 lock nuts for the strap mounting, so they're a little beefy. And then you got the connectors right here, right? So looking at the top, you have the map and then the main connector, and the connectors just press in and go. Nothing special to it. You'll see the connectors have a little tang on them, right? So these two tangs line up. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Line up with the tang coming out here. So you just press it together and you're good to go. So I will power this up and show you guys and gals in the video how this functions and works, but we're going to go over the rest of the unboxing. So in the box, we also have the 3-bar map sensor if you buy the full kit. And it is the kind of the old school style GM 3-bar map with a little harness, with like a little pigtail, and then the sensor itself. So each one of these, you're going to see whenever you get it, the box itself may have a tiny bit of damage from me opening it, right? That is because every single one I ship, I test before it leaves. Again, post 2020 part quality, sometimes I've gotten these sensors in before bad right out of the box. I don't want to ship a bad sensor out. So each one of these is getting hand tested with my test equipment before it leaves. Then same thing with the MAC valve. The MAC valves I ship out, again, you may have a little bit of damage on the box, like the corners tearing or whatever. And that's from me opening it up. And I test every single MAC valve or boost solenoid with your controller on the bench before it leaves. So this one right here, as I can pull it out, I'm going to try to do this one handed while I'm holding the camera. 3-port boost solenoids, really your standard boost solenoid with fittings. So you get the filter, which goes in the front port normally, and then you get the two for the hose connections that go on the sides. And that is also, the instructions on plumbing are also in the instruction manual, which I'll show you in a second here. So let me get this box back up. Okay, next, as I said, we've got the instructions. I'll open these up in a second. And then we also have the looming. So to make it nice and pretty, I include, it's 44 feet total. It's two sections of 8 foot, 2 sections of 14 foot. So, and with heat shrink, that adhesive lined heat shrink for each end, for that as well. That way you can loom the harness however you want to put it in the car. You can cut it to length. I'm probably going a little overkill with the harness, the sleeving and the harness, but I want to make sure you have enough to run it in your car and then cut the sleeving however you need to and heat shrink it and make it all nice and neat for install. So we're gonna put this stuff back in here, and I will show you next the instruction manual. So let's do that. The instruction manual, I'm going to just open it up on my bench here. It is a full color instruction manual. The first page is pretty much going over the disclaimer and liability, and these are sold with no warranty because this is an automotive performance environment. You know how that goes. These things get thrashed on, so these are getting sold with no warranty. However, I will say, if you get one out of the box, I test every single one of these before they leave here. If you get one of these out of the box and it's dead on arrival, email sales@twistedbuilds.com. I'll make it right. But after that, there is no warranty on these because I can't guarantee like the end user's wiring or anything like that, right? But every one of these is tested on the bench before it leaves. So moving forward, we go into the operation of the unit. Everything's full color. Everything has the pretty much how to pick out sensors, boost duty and scramble setups, boost cut. The unit does have boost cut, and universal sensor inputs, mounting of the controller. Comes with a wiring diagram, so you have like the orange wire is the 5-volt wire and it's 14 foot in length, so on and so forth. And how to wire it. And then if I can flip this page, there we go. The map sensor wiring, and then the plumbing of the 3-port boost solenoid, which is the same. If you've seen the V1 instructions, the plumbing's relatively the same. So this boost controller is an open loop boost controller, as in you're still setting the duty cycle within the controller, but it has boost cut, it has a scramble feature, and it has universal input, and this is meant to replace a boost gauge. So this next little bit here, I'm going to show you how this works. All right, now I've got everything hooked up to my simulator equipment and my test equipment. This is how I test each one before it leaves. So the individual boost controller gets hooked up to the map sensor I'm going to be shipping, along with the 3-port boost solenoid. Now, for this video, I'm not going to hook up my pressure and relief from this. I'm going to use the sim part as well. I do test the sensors with one of those manual ones just to make sure everything's working good. But right now, we're going to turn the unit on with my engine sim and show you the splash screen and show you it defaults into being a boost gauge. So this is, as I said, the main primary of this is to replace your boost gauge, and also it has a built-in boost controller. So again, these are open loop, so it's not using the pressure coming in for boost control. It's just using whatever you command for duty cycle. So it's simple dial a boost, right? So functions, if you use the V1 controller, it functions a lot like it. Something I learned from V1 was, and I mentioned it in the V1 instructions, where like you had to, if you wanted to not have this run all the time, I recommended putting a hop switch in line with the solenoid. That is now built in because this has to use a map sensor of some sort for the unit. Now, I'll go over the kits later in the video. You don't have to buy it with the 3-bar. You don't have to buy it with the 3-port boost solenoid. I have different kit options, which I'll go over later. But it requires a boost input because it will not turn this on until after it sees roughly 2 pounds of boost. So we're going to show you, we're going to go in. All these units shipped from here come set up with 0 duty cycle and 0 PSI of boost. So we're going to go into boost duty. And I should go over that, sorry. So whenever you want to go into the menu, you just turn the knob. So turning the knob, 1 click will bring up the menu, and then you just highlight where you want to go. So I'm going to zoom in here. There we go. We're going to go into boost duty. And you, in order to enter that menu item, you just hit enter or hit N, and this is the duty cycle you're commanding once it turns the 3-port on, because it has a couple pounds of boost. So we're going to go, and I'm going to command, we'll say 20% duty, because I want you to be able to hear the difference, right? So we'll command 20% duty cycle whenever it reads boost, and we're going to go into boost cut. Boost cut is set from here at 15 pounds. This is how they are shipped. You can go up or down. Now, the great thing about boost cut is the fact if you get greedy with the duty cycle or your scramble and you hit boost cut, it will completely shut off the unit, as in shut off the output for the boost solenoid, and it'll tell you boost cut until you reset the unit. I will go over that functionality in a little bit, but we're going to leave it at the 15 psi, and like you can go all the way up to whatever you want or all the way down. But this is a great, like, while you're figuring out your settings, that way you don't blow your motor up or anything, you can go to a reliable boost duty cycle, or sorry, boost pressure for boost cut. And if you get greedy, say for instance you command 60% duty cycle and it goes up to 15 psi and wants to keep going past, it'll cut it, go back to wastegate. You can go in there, either change your duty cycle down because you made too much boost, or increase your boost cut. However you want to set it up, right? So now rolling shutter. The next one's gonna be scramble. Scramble, again, open loop. So you're setting the duty cycle. We're gonna set it to 50%, right? So, and you just have to keep rolling until you get there. Perfect, right there. Enter. It goes back to exit menu, and it goes right back to there. So, right now, if we go into it, boost duty is 20%. Boost cuts 15 pounds. We didn't change that. And scramble button is 50%. Now, it saves all these in the memory, so you can like power, well actually, we'll just do it now. We'll power it off, power it back on, and show you how it comes up the menu. And again, defaults into a boost gauge. So go into boost duty, and you can see it saved our 20%. Enter that out. Or scramble, save 50%. So that's good. Boost cut, 15 psi. So it saves all your settings into memory. That way, you know, key off, key on, you're not setting this up constantly. I built a controller that I want to use. I'm putting one in my Silverado, I'm putting one in my Firebird, I'm putting one of these in all my project vehicles, because I built a controller that I wanted to use myself, and I figure other people would like to use it as well. So, and that was the whole mindset behind it. But everything, like, you set it up and you forget about it. It just works, right? So, now we're going to go into, we have GM3 bar, GM4 bar. So then we have LDM4 bar, right? So GM3 bar is the sensor I sell these with, right? It's this guy right here. There's also a 4-bar option on my website. There's not a 4-bar option with the kit. You can buy one without the map and then add on a 4-bar. But it's the 4-bar version of this. And then the LDM3 bar, rolling shutter, my word. Okay, LDM3 bar and an LDM4 bar. That is Low Dollar Motorsports 3-bar and 4-bar map sensors. They are natively supported. You just enter that in, and it's going to work right out of the box, right? So LDM3 bar, LDM4 bar. Sensor low, sensor high. So I'm not going to enter in these ones, because literally you'll hit enter and it'll say exit to menu, and it'll exit back to the boost gauge. But that's how it sets everything up. So we're going to go into sensor low. If, say for instance, you're using a 0 psi to like 100 psi, right? I wanted this to be as universal as possible. So like, or you're using like a 2.5 bar GM sensor or something. You need the PSI settings. Sensor low is 0, what the pressure reading is at 0 volts, okay? Which for this one's 13.9, okay? And then sensor high is your sensor reading at 5 volts. Once you put those two numbers in, it will automatically scale everything else in, okay? And then test solenoid is, it will pulse the solenoid at 50% duty cycle for 10 seconds. This is great for testing wiring to make sure you got it wired in correctly. So we're going to do that. And you can hear the solenoid going at it. I'm going to zoom back out here. And it says the test solenoid active the entire time it's testing it. Then it'll stop and go back to the menu. And then it's back to being a boost controller / boost gauge, right? So I'm going to undo the map sensor, do this guy, and show you normal operation. Okay, so the map sensor is now completely disconnected, as you can see here. And the simulator is connected up. So I have my simulator map sensor feeding the sense. So you can see now I'm reading vacuum. Negative is vacuum, obviously. Positive is boost. So you're 0, which again, key on, engine off. It's going to read 0 PSI roughly on elevation, right? So if you're higher up, the elevation is it may read negative key on, engine off. If you're lower, it may, or have higher atmospheric pressure, it may read like a pound. That's why I set this up for 2 pounds of boost for kicking on the map sensor. So that way it should universally just be fine. And I'm going to show you that right now. So we're going to get this up to 2 pounds. So show you 1 pound if I can. Yep, 1 pound. No worky, right? 2 pound. So when it kicks on. So anything above 2 pounds, it's on. And this is the 20% duty cycle, right? We're going to go right in the boost cut. 12, 13, 14, 15. Boost cut, right? And it comes up a boost cut. Now, it's still a boost gauge. So like I can go back in the, like, you know, let off the throttle, the engine's going back in the vacuum, right? It is going to read boost cut until you reset it. Resetting super easy. You just hit it in. Just pump or you know, hit the button in on the knob, and once it reads PSI again, it's back into being a boost controller, and you can hear it cycling now. Now, listen to this again. Scramble function, right? Hear the solenoid change. So the scramble feature, the 2 wires coming out of the boost controller, there are white and blue. Those are your boost control or your scramble button. Those have to go to a switch by themselves because of how I did the sense circuit. You can't do like a 12 volt or ground wire. Literally, those 2 wires go to a momentary or a toggle or whatever you want to do. And you're shorting those 2 wires together to turn on, which is my push button right here, to turn on scramble. Okay. But that way you got scramble input. And scramble will go up, like you saw me here. I'm going to turn this back off. All right. So you saw me here go into the menu. Oh, I just tested the solenoid. That was my bad. I double clicked it. Let it go through its test here. Okay. So go back to boost duty. That happens when I double click things. Boost duty is at 20%, right? And then scramble is at 50. And to show you the change in boost cut, we're going to take it all the way up to 20, right? Exit menu. So now, if we go up past 15, we get to 16. See, nothing there, 17, 18, 19, 20, boost cut, okay? Now, also, you can scramble in, like I'm hitting scramble. Nothing's going to happen, scramble or regular, until you reset the unit. So reset the unit, it comes back on, and here's the change. I made it that way. That way, if you hit the scramble button and your scramble duty cycle is too high, commanding too much boost, it is going to cut this right off. And display boost cut is why it's not working. And then you just go in there, like I'm gonna hit it again. We'll go up to 20 pounds. And then we'll back it back down. I let off the throttle, right? We're back in the vacuum. So we're idling. We got a decent cam. And there. And then it just goes right back into that. Right? So that is how this works. It is simple. It is easy. Exit out of here. And bring this back up. That's why it's a simple DellaBoost V2. Right, so that's how the unit functions. As I said, is mainly a vacuum and boost gauge until you go into the menu and change settings. But that's how easy it is to set one of these up. I personally love the open loop duty cycle instead of closed loop. It's just simple. I set the duty cycle just like the V1 and forget about it. Right. So yeah, now we're gonna talk about kit pricing. All right, so kit pricing. For the whole kit, everything you saw in this unboxing video, It's $240 shipped to your door. Anywhere in the United States. I will do international orders, but you have to email sales@twistedbuilds.com because of the shipping charges to get anything out of the United States is so expensive. So, with the next kit option is without the map sensor. No map sensor, but you still get the controller, the wiring harness, the hose, and the 3-port boost solenoid. That is $225 shipped to your door again in the United States, and you just don't get a map sensor. Those are for that kit's for the people that have a map sensor that they want to tie into, and I forgot to talk about that. So if you are going to tie into a map sensor on your vehicle, the 2 of the 3 wires get used from the map sensor harness on this. You use the signal wire and you use the ground wire. The reason you gotta use the ground is a floating ground can mess up the boost input, like the pressure input on this. So you need to use the yellow signal wire, and that will tie into the 0 to 5 volt signal from your map sensor that's currently on your car. And then the green ground wire. Or if you're gonna just not use that 3-bar and you're gonna buy a low dollar motorsports. Oh, and that's something else. The low dollar motorsports and the Rife sensors have the same voltage scale. So if you're using a Rife pressure sensor, 3-bar or 4-bar, you can grab the low dollar motorsports setting, and it will connect right up to it and work perfectly. But again, that kit's for the people that want to use a different map sensor than the one I offer. $225, you get everything else in the kit. Then the last kit option is $190. So the last kit has no 3-port, no hose, no map sensor. You still get the wiring, the sleeving, and the kit and the instructions. But again, no boost solenoid, no map sensor. And that kit's $190 shipped to your door in the United States. Again, international orders, you got to email me. But so that is everything with the V2 Simple Dial Boost. I'm going to. It's already been installed in a couple of cars. So I have a coworker of mine that we installed it in his Turbo LS Volvo that we're actually taking on Drag Week. That one's been the test mule. It's been working great. I had another customer that ordered some of the pre-order units I had on my social media. He has his in his vehicle already. He actually has a Terminator X equipped LS turbo swap, and he wanted the simplicity of the V2 Simple Dial Boost, so that way he can make boost changes from the comfort of his seat without having to hook up a laptop or anything. So he actually used that, and he also didn't have to burn an output with the 3-port boost solenoid or whatever, right? So he's using one in his vehicle and absolutely loves it. So as I said, and I've got a couple others that I've sold as well. I haven't heard back about if they've gotten them installed yet, but this has been tested in vehicles. It's been tested thoroughly on the bench. I've spent quite a bit of time building this and developing it and whatnot. But yeah, they are ready to go. At the time of recording, I have 8 units ready to go out with the ability to make plenty more. I've got a source on all of the build materials and everything needed now. Everything's supply chain wise is ironed out. So if the first 8 units go by fast, expect, again, roughly probably about 3 weeks of turnaround time for back orders, and that's mainly getting stuff shipped in. It doesn't take me much to build one of these anymore. So, yeah, I guess that's it. That is the official launch of the V2 Simple Dial Boost by Twisted Builds. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. If you're interested, I'm going to leave a link in the description to my web store for this boost controller. You can also download the instructions there and read through them yourself if you would like to look at the instructions before you buy. And as I said, you can also email me, sales@twistedbuilds.com, if you have any other questions or any comments or anything. But that will be it for this video. Thank you guys and gals for watching, and have a great day. Bye.